Have you ever been stuck in a meeting that's just going absolutely nowhere? You know the one. Well, there's actually a kind of secret language, a set of rules designed not to make things more complicated, but to bring some serious order to the chaos. And that's what we're diving into today, how to make meetings actually work using parliamentary procedure.
You know, this was actual advice given to a brand new, totally inexperienced congressman, and it kind of hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? These rules might seem a little intimidating at first, but they exist for a really good reason, to give everyone a fair, structured way to speak up and actually be heard.
I think we've all been there. That meeting that just spirals out of control. Everybody's talking over each other, new topics pop up every 5 seconds, and absolutely nothing gets decided. Well, believe it or not, that exact problem is what parliamentary procedure was invented to solve. It's basically a blueprint for turning those messy conversations into clear, concrete decisions. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about why these rules even exist. Then we'll get into the different tools in our meeting toolbox, starting with the main motion that kicks everything off, and then all the other motions that help us tweak, change, and vote on ideas. And finally, we'll pull back and look at the big picture philosophy that holds this whole thing together.
Okay, so let's pop open this meeting toolbox. The best way to think about all these different motions is to see them as specialized tools, right? You wouldn't use a hammer to turn a screw, and in a meeting, you got to have the right tool for the right job to get things done effectively.
The two words to really focus on there are simplify and systematize. See, this isn't about being stuffy or adding a bunch of pointless formality. It's about creating a clear, fair system so that a group of people, any group, can actually accomplish something together.
All right, every project has to start somewhere. In the world of meetings, that starting point has a name, the main motion.
This is the absolute foundation. Seriously, nothing, and I mean nothing, happens in a formal meeting until someone makes a main motion. The second you say, "I move that we purchase a new coffee machine," you've officially put a topic on the table for everyone to focus on. And that brings us to maybe the most important principle of this entire system: one thing at a time. The whole group focuses on one single main motion. That's it. This simple, powerful rule is the secret sauce that stops conversations from getting derailed and makes sure everyone is working towards the same goal.
Okay, so a main motion is on the floor. Now what? You need tools to actually work with it, right? And that's where our supporting cast comes in, the subsidiary motions.
Just think of these as your action tools. They're what you use to change the main motion, maybe delay a decision on it or push it forward to a final vote. And they're called subsidiary because they always have to be attached to that main idea that's already on the floor.
Let's take a super common example. Say someone moves to buy a coffee machine, but you think it should be an espresso machine. How do you change that wording? Well, you use a subsidiary motion called the motion to amend. Now, I know this table looks like a lot, but trust me, it's just a handy cheat sheet.
So let's break this down real quick. Debatable just means, yeah, the group can discuss changing coffee to espresso. Amendable, now this is where it gets interesting, means someone could actually propose changing your amendment, and it just takes a simple majority vote to pass. It's a really flexible and powerful tool. Next up in our toolbox, we've got the motions that have nothing to do with the main idea itself, but have everything to do with how the meeting is being run. Let's call them the rule keepers, or incidental motions.
The key thing here is that these motions are all about the process. They are not about the coffee machine. They're about making sure the meeting itself is running fairly and correctly. So if someone breaks a rule, an incidental motion is like hitting the pause button to fix the problem before you can move on.
So let's look at a classic example. Imagine the group is supposed to be debating the coffee machine, but somebody starts talking about the budget for the holiday party. Any member can jump in and call out a point of order to get the discussion right back on track. And you have to see how powerful this is. You can literally interrupt a speaker to make a point of order. It doesn't need anyone else to agree with you. No second is required. It's not debatable. It's not amendable. The chair just makes a ruling on the spot and you get right back to business. It's the ultimate reset button. And now we get to the VIPs of the motion world. These are the heavy hitters, so important they can interrupt just about anything else that's going on. They are the privileged motions. These motions are all about the fundamental rights and needs of the group itself. We're talking about things like taking a break, asking a question because the room is too hot to concentrate, or the most powerful one of all, adjourning the meeting entirely.
So how do all these different tools work together without creating chaos? Well, it all comes down to one master concept:
precedence. It's the official pecking order. A subsidiary motion, like our motion to amend, can interrupt the main motion. But a privileged motion, like a motion to take a recess, can interrupt both of them. It's a pretty brilliant system for making sure the most urgent stuff always gets handled first.
So, we've looked at all the tools, we've seen the what and the how, but why? Why does any of this matter? This isn't just about a bunch of rules for the sake of having rules. There's a really deep and powerful philosophy of fairness at its core.
And it really all boils down to these core ideas. The entire system is designed to strike this really delicate balance. You're letting the majority make the final call, but at the same time, you're fiercely protecting the right of the minority to be heard and make their case. It's all about making sure every voice is equal and that debate is both complete and on topic.
And at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Learning parliamentary procedure isn't about memorizing some dusty old rulebook. It's about getting your hands on a system that's designed to help a group of people make their best possible decisions together. You could almost say it's a blueprint for democracy in action.
So now you have the tools. You've seen the blueprint for turning a chaotic, go-nowhere meeting into a clear, fair, and productive session. The only question left is, how are you going to use them to build a better meeting?